I remember trying to stay awake, but I just couldn't move.
Imagine being with someone for 20 years and slowly realizing the person you love is also the person who's emotionally breaking you down. Imagine loving somebody, defending somebody, protecting their image publicly, while privately you're falling apart emotionally. Imagine slowly losing confidence in yourself because the person you love keeps comparing you to other women. But honestly, the strongest thing in this entire story is not about marriage. It's the violation that happened inside this marriage. Imagine telling your husband there are certain sexual things that you are uncomfortable with. And instead of respecting your boundaries, he waits until you are heavily medicated. You can barely move, barely function, barely process what's happening. And while you're laying there vulnerable, he does the very thing you already told him you did not want to do. So let me ask you something. Does marriage suddenly make your body no longer yours? Does a wedding ring erase consent? Sometimes the most dangerous abuse doesn't leave bruises. Sometimes it leaves confusion, depression, isolation, and emotional exhaustion. Sometimes it leaves a woman defending the very same person who's emotionally destroying her. And what makes abuse so dangerous is people outside the home, they usually don't see it until it's too late. Because most of the time, he's a hard worker, he provides, he's respected, and he's considered a good man. So when a woman finally starts to emotionally shut down, people start blaming her. They call her sensitive, cold, mean, and even ungrateful. Meanwhile, nobody's asking what happened to her behind closed doors. Tonight's story is not about a courtroom story. It's not coming from a police report. It's coming from the private words of a wife speaking directly to her husband. She's going to be talking to him about emotional abuse, the loss of identity, sexual pressure inside the marriage, emotional exhaustion, and still trying to survive while silently falling apart. Dear husband, I struggle to understand how somebody who once made me feel like I was a real jewel that needed to be loved, protected, valued, and appreciated can now make me feel like I'm just some worthless object that only needs to be kept around to serve your needs. Cooking, cleaning, managing bills, appointments, taking care of your stuff. I gave you my heart, my loyalty, my years, everything that I had to give. 20 years, 5 years dating, 15 married. Through every struggle we have, every hard season, every loss, every time life got heavy, I stayed. I prayed for you, I encouraged you, I supported you, and I defended you. Even while you insulted me, you belittled me, you questioned me, and you betrayed me. And honestly, I already know while hearing this, you'll probably be sitting there with your head tilted, your eyes squinted, hands on your hips, trying to figure out what I mean and what I'm even talking about right now. Because instead of you hearing me, you immediately go into defense mode. That's what you always do. You defend yourself before ever stopping and really hearing my pain. I chose you over and over again because I believed we were forever, despite what happened to our parents, despite what happened to yours, and despite what happened to mine. I believed that our marriage was going to survive. And when I say you criticize me, I need you to really hear what I mean by that. Anytime I try talking to you about something, you don't listen to me. You don't listen to understand. You criticize me. You correct me. You question me. You make me feel stupid for feeling what I feel. And when I told you about what I went through before you, the abuse I survived before you, I didn't need to be judged from that. I needed comfort. I needed safety. I needed my husband to tell me I would never go through something like that again. But instead, you made me feel embarrassed for surviving it in the first place. Like somehow what happened to me was my fault. I feel like I've been walking on eggshells for years, trying not to upset you or start another argument. One day you're okay, the next day you're cold. The next day, everybody in the house is tense because nobody knows what mood you're in. Even the kids feel it. They get quiet around you sometimes. They're nervous to say the wrong things to you. And honestly, seeing the kids walk on eggshells too is what really, really broke me. Kids are supposed to feel safe at home, not nervous all the time. I don't think you understand what it feels like laying next to somebody every single night and still feel completely alone. All right, let's talk about this for a second because these are the type of bruises that people love to minimize. Everybody's waiting to see bruises the whole time the family's just emotionally breaking down and falling apart. Kids know when peace is gone. They know when there's tension in the house. And another thing that people need to stop doing is acting like emotional abuse doesn't exist and somehow disappears because somebody's paying the bills. Being a provider does not give you permission to emotionally wear people down. And honestly, what stood out most to me while I was listening to her is not her words, but it's how long she stayed and protected this man publicly while she was privately falling apart. She kept saying, I stayed, I defended you, I protected your image. And that's real. A lot of women spend years trying to protect their mates publicly while privately emotionally collapsing. And then when she finally changes, when she finally pulls away emotionally, suddenly everybody wants to say, well, what happened to her? No, the better question needs to be, what happened to her? She went on to say, when I say betrayal, I'm not talking about another woman. I'm not talking about being involved with someone outside the marriage. I'm talking about being betrayed in my own bedroom by somebody who say they loved me. I'm talking about being pushed into sexual things that I already told you that I wasn't comfortable with. Things that made me feel ashamed afterwards. That's the part that hurts. You knew what you were doing to me. You knew it, but you kept pushing it anyway. This lady said that her husband waited until she was heavily medicated and did some lewd sexual acts to her. That's the part right there that was people don't want to talk about. It's uncomfortable, so people don't talk about it. Society still struggles with the fact that people can feel emotionally and sexually violated inside their marriage. A ring does not erase boundaries. Marriage does not erase emotional safety. We got to stop acting shocked when somebody emotionally disconnects after years and years of emotional pressure, years of criticism, years of dismissal and exhaustion. It's a lot. She says, you killed that playful side of me. Those cute little moments, the ones that we used to have, they're gone. Everybody is sensitive except you. Everybody is overreacting except you. And I want to tell you, no, we are tired. We are emotionally drained. The kids and I, we're tired of walking on eggshells. We matter too. This is the part that people don't understand about emotional damage. Sometimes the biggest loss in a relationship is not the relationship itself. It's losing the version of yourself that you used to be before somebody emotionally wore you down. You go through all of this pain. You go through all of this arguments and just walking on eggshells and feeling like you're not good enough until you have absolutely nothing else left to give. It's like you're empty. It's like you're in emotional purgatory. It's like you don't even react anymore when stuff happens because you already know what's going to happen, so you disconnect to your emotions. She goes on to say, I don't want another man touching me. I don't want nothing. All I want is peace. I want a stable mindset because I'm tired. I'm tired of the up and down. I'm tired of the roller coaster. She says, I'm tired of the roller coaster. To me, that sounds like narcissistic abuse. I'm going to go ahead and say it. It sounds like narcissistic abuse. Did y'all hear that? Not excitement, not revenge. She doesn't want another relationship. She wants peace. That's how emotionally exhausted somebody becomes years after chaos. She's exhausted. She has nothing left to give. An apology is not changed behavior. In the beginning, it looked like you changed, but over time, the same behavior started to show back up. You started to become your old self. That's how it happens, guys. She goes on to say, I used to be outgoing, happy, and loud, full of life. And somehow, somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like I was enough. Over time, I started believing things like, where you said to me, I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy. I'm going to repeat this. She said, I stopped feeling like I wasn't enough. Over time, I started feeling like the things you said to me. You said that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy. Whew. Feelings don't disappear overnight. They slowly fade from being hurt over and over again, piece by piece, until one day there's nothing left. All these years of me crying, explaining myself, trying to talk to you, trying to tell you how certain things affect me, none of it ever really mattered to you. Because if it did, you wouldn't still be asking me to do what you did. Whew. After listening to her voice note a few times, I talked to her a little bit more about what she had been living through. And one of the things she said stayed with me was that she ignored the red flags because she kept trying to protect the relationship. She said, if you feel stuck, you have to find a way out. Then she said, don't spend so much time protecting somebody else's image that you end up destroying yourself in silence. And honestly, I think a lot of people really needed to hear that. This is Classy Punk, and I'm B. Johnson.